Hi, I'm Johnny from ultimatepapermache.com, and I got my new shark mask pattern all done. This actually, the pattern itself can also be used to make a wall sculpture in case you want this guy up on your wall. And I do have videos already that will show you how to put all the pieces together in case you'd like to see that. You can just go to that page right there and see how everything goes together. But in this particular video, I'm going to show you how I painted him, because everything else has already been done. He's got the paper mache on there and everything. I did a couple of things that are really different with this pattern that, well, partly because I'm kind of lazy. It was an easy way to do it. But also, I have some excuses. The teeth, though, okay, that was pure laziness. I didn't want to wrap those with paper strips and paste. It would just really taken a long time. And there's 2 layers of teeth on there, so it would have been really hard to do. So I wrapped the teeth with masking tape before I glued them inside of his mouth, and then I spray painted them white. And that was just an awful lot easier than it would have been if I had been doing the paper strips. The other thing that I did that's really different, partly because I wanted to do an experiment last week with some raw flour and water paste, and I used him as my experimental piece. And I hadn't used raw flour and water paste for a really long time, but I really like the way it kind of shows off a lot of. You can see the paper mache under there, but in kind of an interesting textural way. And because I've been looking at so many shark photographs on the internet, when you see them from a distance, they look really sleek and shiny, but when you get close up, they're really scarred up because, they catch things that try to fight back, I think. And so a lot of them are really scarred up pretty bad. And I kind of wanted to feel that this guy had been around for a while. He's lived his life, and he might have been terrorizing a whole lot of other creatures, but some of them got away. That's what I'm thinking anyway. Because I kind of like that grungy idea, I went ahead and painted directly over the brown paper and raw flour and water paste instead of using a gesso or a primer first. And I didn't try to smooth it off with the drywall joint compound like you can do. That would have been really easy to make it really nice and smooth if you want to do it that way. But I just wanted him kind of beat up and a hard living shark. That's what I wanted. But the painting of it was also really fast. 4 different colors, that's all it took. So let me show you how I did it. I had already covered the teeth with masking tape, and I showed you how I did that in the other video. And then I covered him using brown paper and the raw flour and water paste. Now that the paper mache is dry, it's time to cut that hole for the strap, and I'm just using my hole punch. Now, I would normally use either an acrylic gesso or a spray primer to cover all of the paper mache before I start painting it, just so you can get nice clear colors. But this time I decided not to. If you do want nice clear colors though, and you're not really looking for a slightly grungy look, then I would definitely recommend go ahead and seal it with a gesso or primer first before you start painting. In almost all photographs that you see where the shark's mouth is open, you can see that his gum line is almost red, real pinkish red. And I kind of don't want to do that just because it looks really scary. But the teeth are really scary too, so I haven't decided yet. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to paint the white part as the underside of the shark. I looked at photographs and found out they're kind of got a wavy line, and I've got a pencil line showing me where to put it. I'll go all the way down to the teeth, and if I decide later that I want to put the pink on there, then I will. It's not like you're not seeing blood, from the pink. It's, it's just his gums, but it looks scary. Now that I got the white on there, I'm thinking I have to put some of the color on the gum line, just because the white is keeping the teeth from really standing out. So I need something darker on there. But I'm going to let that dry first, and I'm going to go ahead and put the gray on the back. That's just white, the white that I had before, burnt umber and black, because I'm trying for a really warm gray, because that's what it looks like in the image that I found on Pixabay. That's not an actual photograph of a real shark. I believe it's a painting. You can see all these colors that it's got on it are coming from the reflections from the water above it. So I don't know if we need to do that. I'm not going to do it on mine, but you could. As a matter of fact, if you want to make a sculpture, a wall sculpture, and you want it to be really fabulous, go out to YouTube. You can find some just amazing videos on YouTube from professional artists who paint great white sharks. Just amazing. I'm not going for fine art here. I'm just trying to get a mask done really fast. The thing that really matters about my mask is the teeth, and making it look like it would be kind of fun and scary to wear at Halloween party. But for a wall sculpture, you'd probably want to go to a whole lot more work than I am. There's that silly frowny muscle that I put on, which he obviously doesn't really have. I was just doing that for fun. I got the gray on there, and it's still wet, but I'm going to try to put the red around his gum line, and I'm just going to use straight out of the tube where is it? Cadmium red deep hue, and it's going to be really creepy. And yeah, sometimes I do that too. That was a mistake. Here, my hand moved, but I'm going to keep it because that's what they often look like. I don't like it, but that's the way they look. Okay, so now I'm going to, the very last thing to do, almost the about last thing, to give him some black eyes and put some black inside of his nostrils. Until I started this project, I did not know that sharks have nostrils. I suppose it should have been obvious. I've been seeing photographs of sharks for a very long time, and I saw those holes in their face. But I just never occurred to me. But that's what that was for. They don't breathe with their nostrils, of course. What they use them for is to smell. They have a really good smelling system, probably better than most human laboratories, I bet. So they can smell blood in the water, as if they weren't scary enough. Well, now the black is dry, I hope. I just want to make a real light gray right around the eye. We would normally see something like this on mammals, animals that are above the water, because this part of your eyelid tends to be wet and it reflects sunlight, and that's obviously not that's not true for this guy because the whole thing is wet. But I'm doing it in order to make the eye stand out a little bit better from the rest of him. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to spray it with a clear varnish. This is the clear coat that I use. I really like this stuff because it's not really shiny, although for a shark that actually might work and make them look wet. This happens to be the matte version. I think they do have a gloss version too. That'd be totally up to you. And if you're only going to be wearing it one time for Halloween, you probably don't need a varnish at all. After everything was totally dry, I did put the gray shoelaces here just so that it would hold the mask up right against the back of my head, and then I could put it in any position I wanted so that it would be I don't know, guys. I'm looking at him right here in the monitor on my camera, and I'm thinking, I can't wear this. I am too much of a wimp. But maybe that's the right person for it. You know, if you got a kid who's, you know, feeling a little bit picked on or something at school, this might be a perfect mask for him. I don't know. I think if it was hanging on my wall, every morning when I was stumbling around before my first cup of coffee, I would have a minor heart attack just looking at him. I don't know what I was thinking when I made this guy, but he was fun. And if you make one, please come back to my website and show it off on the Daily Sculptors page. We would love to see it, and I would really like to see what you do for the rest of the costume. I couldn't figure that out. I really wanted to add a fin on here because the shark's fins are kind of creepy because that's what you first see when you're surfing. But if we were wearing this on our head, then the fin would be way back by our bottom because they're like halfway down the shark's body, and so I couldn't make that work on the mask. But if you can figure out how to do that, I would really love to see how you actually put this into a costume. There's a video that shows you how to actually put the mask together and how to turn it into a wall sculpture if that's what you wanted to do. That's all on this page. And now go check that out. Go make something and come back and visit me, ultimatepapermache.com. I'll see you there.